Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a great day. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to another episode of Switching Out. I have come up with a list of bands who at one point during their career decided to replace or switch out certain members in their lineup. And in some cases, the members that were replaced or switched out were considered pivotal members of these bands. And the band I'm going to be talking about today, at the point of two of their members being switched out, the band was enjoying a good run of success with two successful studio albums and a massively successful live album. That band is Deep Purple, and we're going to be taking a look at the first release in their Mark III lineup, Burn. Now, just a bit about Burn. It is Deep Purple's eighth studio release. It is a follow-up release to Who Do We Think We Are in 1973. Burn was released on February 15th, 1974 for Deep Purple Records in the UK and in Europe, and through Warner Brothers Records in North America and in Japan. The album was recorded in November of 1973. The album was produced by Deep Purple. There were two singles released from Burn, those singles being Might Just Take Your Life and the Japan-only release of the title track Burn. Now, the album has an overall playing time of 41 minutes and 37 seconds. Now, as I said, at the time of the two members that were replaced in Deep Purple, those members being Ian Gillan, lead vocalist and percussionist, and Roger Glover, bassist. The band were enjoying a good string of success with two studio albums being, again, Who Do We Think We Are? And prior to that, Machine Head and the massively successful Made in Japan release. At the time that Ritchie Blackmore, the guitarist, suggesting replacing both Ian Gillan and Roger Glover, the band were at an all-time high. And both drummer Ian Pace and keyboardist, organist John Lord were quite surprised that he would even suggest this. But they acquiesced and accepted that they were going to replace both Ian Gillan and Roger Glover. Now, Ian Gillan it's also said I'll backtrack a bit. There are stories that, Ian Gillan was not getting along with Ritchie Blackmore, and that is well documented. These two individuals did not get along at all, and they still don't. And it was also noted that there was a story that Ian Gillan wanted to quit at one point, but he was convinced to stay. However, he shortly after being convinced to stay, he wrote a letter to management stating that he was intending to quit at the end of the tour of Japan that they were currently on, and he felt that the band would shortly break up after he left the band. And in the case of Roger Glover, he was feeling a bit alienated from within the group, that the band members weren't really giving him positive attention or positive uh, reinforcement as to his playing in the band. And there were also reports that he was a little disgruntled at the fact that they weren't taking any of his solo compositions into account for recording for any of the albums. And he actually approached management about what he felt was what he felt as being squeezed out of the band. And he was quickly told that Ritchie Blackmore wanted to replace him because he felt that the band needed fresh blood. So Roger Glover, instead of being squeezed out, he basically resigned from the group and went to work in the A&R department for Deep Purple Records. So there were three remaining band members, John Lord, Ritchie Blackmore, and Ian Pace, set about looking for two new members. They quickly set their sights on a bassist named Glenn Hughes, who was in a band called Trapeze. They caught Trapeze at the Whiskey A Go Go in Los Angeles and approached uh, Glenn Hughes about his playing and praised his playing. and he quickly rebuffed them because he thought that they were after him to join the group, and he didn't want to. Ian Pace tracked him down in New York City and quickly convinced him to join Deep Purple. And in terms of finding a new lead vocalist, backtrack a little bit. Originally, the idea was that Glenn Hughes was going to be bassist and lead vocalist, but Ritchie Blackmore felt that that the band needed a solo vocalist as well as Glenn Hughes in order to give the band a different musical dynamic, just more punch and more muscle in the vocal department. And Ian Pace and John Lord quickly agreed, and they set about looking for a new lead vocalist. Well, they got an audition tape from an unknown by the name of David Coverdale, who worked in a clothing store, and they listened to the tape, and they liked the tape, and they, had him join the band. And the group would quickly start to work on material that would become the music for the album Burn. A little side note, Ritchie Blackmore would leave Deep Purple in 1975, shortly after the release of Stormbringer, because he felt that the band were going into more of a funk R&B direction, and he wasn't happy with that musical direction. And he would quickly form his own group called Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, featuring Ronnie James Dio on lead vocals. And they would release Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow in the summer of 1975. Now back to Burn. Burn, upon release, received mixed reviews from fans and critics at the time. And playing in the band of this Mark III lineup of Deep Purple, you had Ritchie Blackmore on guitar, David Coverdale on vocals, Glenn Hughes on bass guitar and vocals, John Lord on keyboards and organ, and Ian Pace on drums. All right. Now, in listening to Burn, I gotta say, I like this album a lot more than I thought I would. And don't get me wrong, I mean, Ian Gillan, as a lead vocalist, cannot be touched. Okay, he had a certain power and potency in his vocal delivery and his vocal prowess in terms of being able to hit the high notes and go all over the scale musically in terms of his vocal range and dynamics. Burn is a bloody good album. Okay, starts off with the title track, 6 minutes and change. Again, this was a single release in Japan only. Fantastic harmony vocals on the choruses, heavy guitars as I'll get out on the track, nice organ, and nice guitar solo from Ritchie Blackmore. And what I like too is he, on this track, between the left and the right channel, he double tracks his guitar lines, which just adds a different dimension to the track. Track 2, Might Just Take Your Life, the lead-off single from North America. Nice organ intro on this piece, and really prominent organ work from John Lord. Okay, Lay Down, Stay Down, track 3, at 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Nice piano intro on this piece. Great fast tempo to the track. Nice rhythm guitar driven track as well. Killer guitar solo. And this piece is more of a blues influenced track. Okay. Sail Away, which is one of the two tracks are co-written between David Coverdale and Ritchie Blackmore, ends off side 1. Sail Away at 5 minutes and 48 seconds. Nice funk influenced guitar riffs that come in on this. And it's kind of surprising that Ritchie Blackmore wasn't a fan of funk or R&B, seeing as how he was the one that was doing the funk-oriented guitar riffs on this piece. Great organ swells on this piece, on the choruses. It's just an amazing, it's an amazing killer side for first side of an album. All 4 tracks just kick you right in the gut. Side two is no different. Starts off with You Fool No One, 4 minutes and 47 seconds. Fast paced, funky drum pattern that comes in. Great rhythm guitar. Uh, and to me, when I hear the chorus that comes in, the melody line in the chorus is similar to I Feel Free from Cream. Okay? Very similar, very similar. And both the combination, I should say, sorry, of Glenn Hughes' vocals along with David Coverdale's vocals are killer. They just blend so well together. And as musicians and as songwriters, they go along really well together as well. And along and again on this track, You Fool No One, good harmonies, and just a really soulful vocal delivery from David Coverdale. And there's a great extended guitar solo on this piece. Track two, What's Going On Here, 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Great blues vibe on this piece. Nice piano solo and nice thick guitar tone on this track. Mistreated is next. Now, Mistreated, clocking in at 7 minutes and 25 seconds. Mistreated would be played live by Rainbow on their tours, with obviously with Ronnie James Dio on lead vocals. In my notes, I have a nice intense guitar intro. Again, has a blues vibe to it and a nice steady bass line. Great deliberate guitar solo. And when I say deliberate, there are no gymnastics done on the guitar solo. No like sort of tapping on the fretboard. No speedy guitar solo. Just a very slow and deliberate, well paced out and well spaced out guitar solo from Ritchie Blackmore. It's wonderfully done. An earnest vocal delivery from David Coverdale on this. And the tempo of the track does speed up on the coda, right? But it's a great track. It's a great track. The album ends off with the instrumental A to 100. Or to 100, sorry. 3 minutes and 51 seconds. And what I'm hearing is you have a nice oscillating synth intro on the piece, nice bass passage that comes in, the great drum fills. Okay, no hitting of snare drums on this piece, just a lot of use of the toms and cymbal crashes that come in, and just wall-to-wall overlapping of synth passages on this piece, and nice subtle piano that kind of underpins the whole track, and a beautiful scorching guitar solo from Ritchie Blackmore near the end of the track, right? And that's the album. Okay, now in terms of answering the $65,000 question, is this still Deep Purple? As much as I don't want, as much as I wanted to say no, yes, it is still Deep Purple. I thought I was going to hate this album, but I actually don't. I think it's a great album. I think with this album, Deep Purple went into more of a R&B funk element and vibe. Not overly so. I mean, the drums are still killer. The guitar soloing and the guitar riffs are still, prominent, and they're still abound, like a plenty, in terms of musical ideas that Ritchie Blackmore was coming up with. Yeah, songs like, You Fool No One, that is just a kick-ass track. And yes, that is one of the more funk-oriented, groove-oriented tracks that the band had recorded up to that point. They would follow, more of that funk R&B vibe with albums like Stormbringer and Come Taste the Band. But with this album, it showed that they could continue as Deep Purple without two pivotal band members. It's unfortunate that, the Mark II lineup could not remain. I mean, they would reunite again in 1983 or 84, sorry, for the release of Perfect Strangers through Polydor and Deep Purple Records, or Mercury, sorry, in UK and in Europe. And even then, the Mark II lineup at that point couldn't stay together long because there was discussions of the band touring, and Richard Blackmore didn't want to tour North America, and Ian Gillan got in his face and said, "We must tour North America. It's important." And Richie Blackmore just said, "I can't work with this guy anymore," and he just walked away from the band at that point. But with regards to Burn, I think it just introduces a different chapter in the band's development. Uh, yes, the drug taking and the drug abuse with Glenn Hughes is well documented. His drug intake at this point was reaching intolerable levels, but the band were able to continue at this point for some time, for at least another 3 albums, um, and continue with a good amount of success. Is this still Deep Purple with the release of Burn? Again, as much as I wanted to say no, yes, this is still Deep Purple. Okay. It's a fantastic album. If they ever did release a box set of this album and recordings from this period, I'd snatch it up in no time flat. This is an amazing release. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Switching Out. Please put in the comments below your opinion of Burn. Is this still Deep Purple? Should the Mach 2 lineup of Deep Purple stay together, even though the band members were not getting along? Yeah, let me know your opinion, and let me know your favorite tracks from the album. And also, given the way the track listing is sequenced, would you change the track listing? Would you resequence it differently? Okay, that's it for now. Please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves in the loop for any new episodes we got coming up. I've got more shows coming up with Sagosh and Ken Cheshire, and Bill Schuster is eventually going to join us on some episodes. And that's it for now. Please look after yourselves and one another. Please follow us on X. We're now on X, and we'll see you soon again on the Music Den. Okay, bye for now.